Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining in. Hello. I'm just going to be waiting for Sachi Marwar to join in, and we'll be talking about Marvel trends in residential spaces. So, if any of you have questions, please feel free to drop in. Uh, Sachi is an expert in residential design, so and there she is. I'm just going to connect with her. Yeah. Hi.
Hi Tanya, how are you?
I'm good, Sachi. How are you?
I'm fine. Can you
Thank
see
you.
me clearly?
Yes, we can see you. We can hear you. Thank you for
Perfect.
being with us here
Oh no,
today.
it's such a pleasure to be there.
Yeah, we'd love to get some insights from you on trends in residential spaces. And it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us. I'm quickly
Thank
just
you.
introduce you to everybody here,
Sure.
and then I'll start with the format of regular questions. So,
Okay.
Sachi Marwaha Rana is an award-winning designer based out of Delhi and Dubai. She's been awarded the top 10 Creative Mind Next by FOAD 2019, and recently she was awarded the 40 under 40 interior designers and the most promising IT firm of the year by Architecture and Interior Design Excellence Awards 2020. Her artistic roots can be traced back to her childhood. Having been brought up around artistic parents, she's learned from the best. Her mother is a national awardee bronze sculptor, and her father has taught her about the interesting handmade finishes, specializing in the patina finish. As a
Right.
budding designer, she's been trained under several reputed architects and interior designers with reputed publications as an interior stylist. She's currently running a design firm in Delhi and has a number of projects in Dubai as well. She's also associated with the design schools in India and the UAE for juries, talks, workshops, etc. Took a lot of inspiration from history, art, music, books, and anything that makes her creative juices flow. She's a blend of the traditional and the modern. Rather than having a signature style, she takes an organic, multi pronged approach. It was her relentless passion for design at a very young age that kickstarted her career. She's now renowned, and her ever evolving style is defined by a subtle fusion of East meets West, which is intuitively balanced with opulent warmth and luxury. Sachi,
Thank you,
thank you.
Tanya.
It's really nice to have you here, and I think there are a lot of people who just want all your expert tips, on marble, the use of marble trends in residential spaces.
Right.
So, since I'll start with the question format,
Okay.
where you have a lot of experience in designing luxury spaces, right?
Right.
For high-end clients and celebrities. What are the latest trends?
I think the latest trend is that people have started to pick up the daring colors in marble. When it comes to marble, initially people were very apprehensive in choosing the colors for the space. They were going for very subtle, they had this regular tone in mind before picking up any marble. But I think now, I think the best part is that people are getting very daring with colors. So they don't mind picking up like, bright colors and reds and combining it with more darker shades. So I think that's give a marble has always been my favorite material to use in a space, any space, residential or commercial, and I feel it gives luxury to the space, as compared to the other thing. So recently, I think the trend has been more of picking up the daring colors, is what I say.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, what is your criteria when you have to pick up stones for residential spaces? What are the characteristics that you look for in stones?
I think the first thing that I look for while picking up a stone or a marble is the texture. I love to play with textures when it comes to marble. So I think it's the color, the texture and the pattern that the texture would make.
Right.
So that's something that is very intriguing. So when designing any space, even in a residential space, if it's a bathroom or a kitchen, or say we use it for the cabinets also now, like a layer of it, ceiling for that matter, I choose the perfect texture for it. That when the resha matches and how it comes to be, what texture does it, what pattern does it form. So I think
Mm.
that's my number one criteria when I pick up the marble.
Right. So, could you share some examples of what are the stones that you've used that are good to sort of play around with when it comes to textures?
Yeah, of course. See, first would be Satvario. So I love to book match the Satvario. And when it comes to beige, usually I've picked up Botticino, but I try and match it with some contrast color, like Gray Williams or say Saint Laurent. So I don't have a particular type. It's not like there's one thing that I would go for.
Mm.
So even in my house when I use the marble, there's some Indian marbles that I've used, there's some Italian marbles I've used. I've matched it together. But I would say that my most favorite one would be the book matching, and it could be of Satwari or it could be of any other marble that we use.
Okay. Okay. So, so obviously, I mean, the one is the play of texture and patterns, right?
Right.
The other is there is obviously huge drama that one can create when it comes to horizontal surfaces or vertical surfaces,
Yeah.
right? What are some of the ways in which stone can be used differently for horizontal and vertical spaces? And if you could share a few examples, that would be very useful.
Of course. So, I think there's one thing that I would recommend is like, all Italian marbles are not good marbles. There's some Indian marbles that are coming out. There are certain marbles that are, waste for others, but then it forms such beautiful textures. Some marbles which are apparently flawed are, really beautiful. So when it comes to creating a drama for the walls or for the space, I've used couple of the leftover marbles for the patterns, even for the ceiling in a residential spaces. So it's not that I let go of any piece of marble that is kept or that is being wasted. So there's certain pieces that we find, in you're designing a bathroom and there's like a lot which is left, and that I would rather combine it and create a panel out of it. It actually, I feel like marble is a very artistic material. No two things can be alike. Even if you pick it up from the same lot, it cannot be alike. So it is like a surprise element, like what you come up with. Anytime you match it, you break it, you make it. In fact, for a couple of projects, that's commercial projects. So we picked up marble, which was the leftovers for the marble leftovers. They had like the small chunks left. So we used it at like mosaic for
Right.
the floorings. So I don't think there's anything that can go waste in this, or in terms of marble, or in terms of, creating a pattern, texture, or even drama. Uh, I would say that I think people are really apprehensive in using it up on the ceiling because we always like
Yeah.
do look away for the
Yeah.
ceiling. We don't give that much importance except for giving it like a cove lighting. So I think we should be more experimental with that, and I've been doing that a lot lately, and I think I've been getting a very, very good response for the same.
Yeah,
Very good response for the
I
same,
can
yeah.
imagine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It sounds very interesting as well. And I haven't, I mean, we've been talking about stone for a long time here. And I've personally been, doing 20, I've done a lot of these sessions. And this is the first time I'm hearing somebody talk about using stone on ceiling. So it would be really, so could you share, you spoke about leftover stone. So what stone was it? Would you like to share? I mean, was it marble that you were
So
just
it was a
leftover?
marble. It was I picked up this there's this random, like a big chunk of red marble that they had, which I've used it also in my guest bed bathroom for the whole space. So it's a dramatic maroon thing. So I used that leftover marble. We were left with a couple of slabs and all, and then I had like a simultaneously a project going on. So we created like small triangular repetitive patterns, which we stuck together in the concrete ceiling. So we gave the texture of the concrete, the stucco feeling to the ceiling, and then we had like this triangular repetitive patterns created with those red marble, the leftover marble. I think that was I the marble doesn't really have a name. They had apparently had a lot, and it was some sort of Indian marble, not very expensive. It was for I think 150 to 170 bracket, I
Really?
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they had like a beautiful resha on it, and apparently it was porous, and so it was very well suited for what do you say, for my washroom and for the bathroom. So we try to incorporate it in some sort of design elements for the ongoing simultaneously project.
Okay, very nice. That's really good to know. Could you also share, some examples of what are the characteristics that one needs to look for when you're doing, let's say, horizontal surfaces like ceilings and floors, as compared to what one should look for when they're looking for vertical surfaces?
I don't think they set rules for the same, but
Okay.
for example, if we have like a checkered flooring, if we have, if you want to use the checks on the ceiling and checks on the vertical space or like a checks pattern on the floor, we could just probably give a nice border to it and see, what matches to that check flooring. And if we have that inlay thing going on, I think the best example I would say is I recently went to Shangri-La and then I saw this. They have this beautiful marble inlay carpet made. They've made this massive installation of marble inlay carpet and they've installed it on the front wall. So it doesn't really look like it is made up of marble. And if it is just placed horizontally, and if it's vertically put on the floor, it'll have the same pattern going on. So it is just like how you use it and where are you using it, and in case that the pattern is breaking in a horizontal or the vertical play, so what is the fillers that you have? The checks, the mosaic might just break somewhere, it's not equal. So you might just give a nice border to it, have another marble coming, introducing another marble for the corner patterns. So I think the only thing that I would keep in mind during this vertical and a horizontal play would be the ends. The
Yeah.
ends. So how it's ending. It's if it's ending on the floor, if it's ending on the ceiling. Am I wrapping it up on the ceiling from the wall as a panel? So I think that would be the only thing I would recommend to keep in mind while choosing a pattern for the space in terms of marble, because the ends are very important, the very important part, the finishes. Yeah,
That sounds very interesting. And if so we've seen that you also play with a lot of patterns and textures, right? You said that you
yeah.
particularly enjoy that. What any advice to our audience on what they should keep in mind when they're experimenting and mixing in different patterns and textures?
Yeah, of course. So, sometimes when I start making the patterns or I start designing a space, I think on a smaller space, the marble looks really different when it comes with a small sample. And in terms of when it's widespread, when you see it on like a larger space. So, we really have to keep in mind like what pattern and how repetitive the pattern is. Sometimes it gets like too monotonous. It start making the bigger place look smaller, and it does the vice versa also. It starts making the smaller space larger as well. So if it's not always important to use like a combination of marble. Sometimes the same colors and same marble running throughout gives it a very chic look to it. So I think start sketching for starters for the pattern and see how many repetitions are we getting, because sometimes we actually visualize and saying, there might be just like three chunks of colors coming in, but when it's put in real horizontal and vertical again, you might have 10, you might have 12. So that is one thing that I would want everyone to keep in mind before even starting to choose the marble or start playing with the marble texture or patterns that we have.
That's a very good tip, actually. I'm glad you mentioned it. So, Sachi, you've also spoken, when I introduced you, I mean, your background is obviously you are known for your fusion of the East and the West, right? And you've done a lot of sort of luxury projects wherein you've blended traditional design approaches with a modern sort of style, right? And aesthetic as well. So, how
Right.
do you think stone plays a role in blending the two?
I think this I have been doing subconsciously for very long, and then I started noticing the pattern that I am actually pursuing it in my design, and I'm using it in my design. The last is this. I've posted that picture. The last project that I did in it was in Dubai, and then we tried creating the whole pattern of say like there's this wainscoting happening, which is traditional, and we had like a really massive modern furniture going on there. Similarly, in terms of marble, which has been a very versatile material, it just changes its form if it's done like inlay or used raw as a sculpture, which is, people have been using in ancient time. And and suddenly, if you use it in, say, a pattern, say like a check or in a modern way, you can also do that. So I think this material actually gives you a leverage of playing with, the modern, the contemporary, and historically. So the inlay actually just, the thing that has been happening in Jaipur so beautifully, and they've been making flooring out of it with nice inlays. It gives a very nice and like a historical look and feel to it. And the moment same material and same color combination and used in other way in terms of other pattern, like say book matching, Satvario book matching gives it a very, very modern look. So I think that is something that is that I've been doing for very long. There is this another project that I finished in Delhi recently only. So we have like a really massive, good modern furniture going on, but then we gave like a side tables very nice inlaid with handcrafted inlay. We got it done from Jaipur. So I think that gave it a very a luxury feel to the space. It just suddenly felt that the room is complete. And they've put like a similar artwork. We tried putting a similar artwork, similar, tapestries on the walls. So I think this material actually helps me with my whole design thinking of fusion of East meets
Yeah.
West, and uh, historical and contemporary and classical and contemporary kind of look.
Okay. So you mentioned that in Delhi and Dubai, like you've been doing a lot of projects in India and outside.
Yeah.
What do you think are the few main distinctions, like between what clients look for here in India versus outside? Uh, Also, what are the things that you find in common, between the Indian client and the Dubai, especially in terms of their expectations when it comes to materials, finishes, and so on and so forth?
I think more than differences, it has been easier for me to connect with that culture was because there are a lot of similarities in terms of design briefs. When it comes to smaller spaces or, renovating or redoing a smaller space, I have mostly got the same sort of brief. And when it comes to like doing a massive space, like, the palatial spaces, which I did couple of projects even in Chandigarh for the same. And I've got the similar taste people, they want the luxury, they want the, exorbitant look. I think by far it's not just mine, but even clients' favorite material has been Satvario. People don't mind going for all white, palaces and all white rooms and playing with that texture. So there's this project that, in fact, happened in Dubai and also in Chandigarh for that matter. It was similar because in terms of design. So we used the same flooring upon the ceiling and also the same kitchen with the same marble. So I think there are trends which are more similar than there's not been much difference. When it
Right.
comes to luxury, the brief I've got is exorbitant and get luxury. And I think this has been the easiest material for me to get luxury in a project, be it a commercial project or be it residential. But more of commercial has been similar. There have been differences more of the residential has been similar. The
Right.
commercial projects are still little,
Yeah.
different in terms of the briefs, but I think residential spaces have been very, very, very similar. The handcrafting work for inlays out there in UAE and even in, let's say India, where the Jaipur and
Yeah.
the wooden handicraft in Saharanpur and stuff, I think people have been fan of it like that. There's so many stuff that I've taken from here to UAE, and I think I've got like an excellent response for the same.
Okay.
We have
Very nice.
used a couple of marble chunks even in chandeliers to design chandeliers for a client in Dubai itself.
What
So
what stone was that? What marble was it? What
it
stone
was
was
the leftover Satvario again. So it was say like we had like these really long chunks left. So we created like a round, nice chandelier with it. And so we left some spaces for the lights to come in. It wasn't like really big, but yeah, it was like a small, let's say like not chandelier, but like a pendant light for the
that?
same.
Very
Yeah,
interesting.
so I don't like wasting the materials is personally what I feel when it comes
That's
to
really good. That's really interesting. In fact, I was just thinking maybe we should have had a session with you only on how to use leftover stone. Right? Design
I,
as a design workshop, maybe that is something we can always explore, right? Because I mean, a
yeah,
lot of people who've come on this platform as well, they do talk about the fact that one concern for them is how to use the all the material that is available, right? Especially not waste. And in today's time, when with sustainability really starts with that. So
yeah.
this is a fabulous approach, right? That you, I mean, the same stone can be used for lights, for products, for anything. That could be.
I think
It's
that
very
gives a
interesting.
homogeneous look to a project also. Like it doesn't look like you've picked up like 10 different materials and created like 10 different rooms, looking at like a museum, giving it like a museum room in the house because they're like four people, six people. Everybody have different likings, every have different briefs and stuff. So I think when you club the leftover material, it just makes the house look more
Complete.
homogeneous. Yeah, like a complete
Complete.
look, you know.
Yeah.
It looks like, it is just one whole thing rather than like one, two, three rooms. So I think the idea struck to me once because this Safario and all these marbles are so expensive. Like,
Yeah.
why would you want to waste it? And there's you can always make something out of nothing.
Yeah.
And aesthetically, I don't think you can really go wrong when it comes to using your leftovers.
Yeah. Great, great. Thank you. That's a very, very useful takeaway for everybody from this session. If there was one, I think my last question is,
Yeah,
we're following the hashtag Let's Talk Design.
yeah.
So, if you had one thing to say on Let's Talk Design, what would that be?
That you can never go wrong in design. And don't there are no set rules for design. Sometimes which are aesthetically wrong for other person may be like fabulous for you.
Yeah.
And I think I would want to break away from this trend, like saying that all the Italian marble is the only good marble because I have personally feel, people just ask, is this Italian? Like, what are you using? Is this Italian? So that has been the question for very long. Like, is this imported? There's certain there's certain materials which are Indian and they're fabulous and they're
Absolutely.
beautiful. And you might not have a fancy name for those stones or for that sort of wood or that sort of materials, but when it comes together, they're fabulous. I've seen a white marble with a similar resha like Satwario, half the price and the better resha. So I would just like to say, like, know your material. Like, all imported things are not like really good. There's certain Indian materials that we can go for. Yeah, so I would like to end on this note, like, you know.
Thank you. That's a very beautiful note to end on. I'd also ask you a question that Preksha always asks on this group, which is,
Yeah.
what is the one stone that resonates with your personality? If
One
there was one
stone.
stone that you had to pick out that would resonate with your personality, what would
I
that be?
think the I would not call it like a one stone, but all the leftover which is left and which creates something nice
That's so
is I
sweet.
would like to connect with.
Yes, yes.
So
True.
so
That's true.
because because I would honestly, Tanya, I would say that like 100 stones if I use, I don't know the names of the 90% of the stones.
Can't hear you, Sachi. I can't hear you anymore. Suddenly, there's no sound. Yeah. No, I can't hear you. Can you log off and come back? No, we can't hear you. Sachi, we can't hear you. No. You'll have to log out and come back. Yeah, so we are just going to wait for her to come back. We're almost done. We're at the end of the session. I'm going to wait for Sachi to come back. If anybody has any questions, please do put them in the question box. We're happy to take them on. The theme is still Marble Trends in Residential Spaces. So I would request you all to stick to the theme. Hi. Yes, Sachi, can we? Yeah, there we are.
Tech issue.
Hi. Yes.
Yeah. Can you hear me
Back.
now?
Yes,
Perfect.
yes.
Yeah.
So we have a few questions as well.
Okay.
Somebody has asked what combination of materials suits works with marble.
What combination? So you can go for brass inlays if ever you want. Marble with marble goes fabulously well. You can go, you can use the marble leftovers as like a chip in a concrete or POP. Use it like stucco, create pattern, texture, artwork, ceiling, or a statement wall with the same. So I think there's no specific which goes with what, but then you can start experimenting and come out to be very nice. So these are some of the materials that I've used with marble apparently right now.
Okay, we have a lot of. I'm just going through all the comments. You have a huge fan following. There are a lot of people who love your work, and
Thank you.
they're very inspired. They want to know more about your work. I think I'll just take one more question, which is, in what ways can we use marble in our homes apart from floors or walls? What are the other
Again, I
interesting?
think we spoke about it was the ceiling. Like you
Yeah.
don't have to put like the chunk of marbles on the ceiling to make it look heavy. But then if you're using it like a statement wall, you don't mind taking little patch up on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And so I think I would highly just say do not ignore the ceiling, because I think that's people are getting experimental with ceiling now. They're putting the wallpaper up on it, they're putting the panelings on it. So why not this? And apparently you get this thin sheets of the stone also. Like you started
Yeah.
getting like the stone veneers now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is one of the material which I've personally not used, to be honest. But then I have the samples, and I think it could work wonder if it's done nicely on the ceilings, on the cabinets. In fact, TV units you have. So you have to balance it out, because too much of marble will also make it look very heavy.
Yeah.
So you have to really tone it down, get to know your material, talk to experts. What is the best material that you can use and where.
one last question somebody just asked, and I think it'll be useful for everybody else as well. Can we use marble for kitchen tops or dado? Is it durable?
It is, because I have used it. I have personally used it for the kitchen tops. Usually people go for granite, but then it is not. You don't have to be scared to use marble for the kitchen tops. Works really well for the bakers, and for the dado, I would say that why not? Actually, if you the dado paneling is actually the half panel on the wall. Just for the people who don't know, the dado is just for the half of the wall. It's not like the complete wall. So I think it works wonder. I've used a gray William, highly textured gray marble for the dado, and I've painted the rest of the wall white. So that texture has come out to be really nice, and it has balanced the room. So I think heads up for dado for sure. And also for the commercial spaces, the dado actually is safer because you tend to touch that's in the restaurants you have seats next to the walls, and you just touch it with the dirty hands and stuff. So I think that is a easily maintainable thing that can be used even in the commercial spaces, F&B spaces, restaurants, clubs, for that matter.
Great. Thank you so much, Sashi. This was super useful and super interesting. I'm hoping that at some point we can talk about leftover stone. I feel the idea is fabulous. Thank you for helping us. The A-Class is celebrating 50 years this year. So just as gratitude for you enlightening us with all your expertise.
And congratulations to A-Class.
Yeah, A-Class is going to plant a tree on your behalf, and you'll get a certificate as well. So thank you very much for being a part of the A-Class journey.
Thank you so much.
And good luck to you.
Thank you, Tanya. So nice talking to you.
It was nice speaking to you. It was a complete pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.